For this AI in action, we're going to do two things. We're going to vibe code an app, not hard at all. Think you'll like it. And the other thing that we're going to do is a PowerPoint presentation. Okay, let's go ahead and just jump right in and start vibe coding. So don't let it intimidate you. And remember, you can always ask the AI to guide you through the process if you forget what you're doing or you get lost or something's not working. So that's always your default. And we may have to do that here today as we're going to vibe coding an app. Okay, so I've started off in Claude. Claude is my favorite, but you can also do this in GPT. And I know Gemini, I've coded apps in Gemini as well. Um, I think my recommendation was probably to use Claude for this particular assignment or GPT to code that. Um, but right now I'm in Claude, the free version here, and you can see that there's a code option here. We're going to start off in just regular conversational Claude and then have it flip over to code if it needs to. Not sure if it will, but we'll see. I think we'll just start right here in regular conversation chat mode. And what we're going to do today is cut on paper here. We're going to just do a simple app, a meeting cost calculator. Have you ever been in a meeting with a few people and first of all, you don't even want to be there and you're like, oh, this could be easily handled through an email. But if you're there for like an hour and then you're like, okay, I make so much an hour and they make so much an hour, and how much does this whole meeting cost? You know, you could actually, yeah, you could whip out a calculator and you can get a piece of paper and you could do that. But let's whip up a little app for that and see. May not be the most practical thing, but this will be a good demonstration for us. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and talk to Claude here. And, kind of when I'm thinking about an app, again, most of them all of them that I've made have been what I'm looking for. So that's what's kind of cool about it. You may find like, oh, well, Chris, there's apps that convert video files to, you know, other types of video files and they're out there. But I have maybe I have a very specific need. Like I want to do a batch of video files and I need to do a specific slide on there and a specific thumbnail. And um, if I could just whip something up, it could do it for me. And that was actually one that I did. It saved me a bunch of time and saved me money because that was formerly a subscription service that I was paying for, which I no longer had to do because now I have my own app and it does it better and exactly how I want to do it. All right, but what I'm thinking about is kind of, when I'm looking, what problem does it solve? Who's going to use it? And what should be the output? Um, and you'll never get it right on the first shot. So you'll always will go back and iterate. You'll have, I'm really hoping we don't get it right on the first shot with this one. And you'll adjust things, move buttons over, or maybe you'll find a glitch and you'll say, solve this. This glitch isn't working for me. Because it's not always necessarily perfect in the coding. You might see something that will not work here. So maybe we'll get some of those errors today too, which I'm hoping, so you can see how to solve those. But if not, I'll tell you at the end on if you do encounter some glitches on how to solve that. All right, so let's go ahead and get started on our app that's going to calculate our meeting costs. So let's go ahead and just talk to Claude here. Hi, I need an app that will help me determine the cost of a meeting. I'm going to tell you how many participants are there, how long the meeting is, and let's say the average hourly wage for those individuals. I have no coding experience. Can you recommend maybe how to begin coding this for me? All right, let's see what our buddy Claude says here. I am using Sonnet 4.6. So Sonnet 4.6 is, oh, look at this. It's going right to it. Sonnet 4.6 is their faster brain. Good for regular stuff. Oh, okay. Interesting. All right. This, all right. So this is a new feature that came out about a week ago. Um, and it's bringing us right to this. That's interesting. Okay. So Claude now has this new in chat. I forget what they call it, but it will make these interactive the way I've seen it in my chats, it'll make like interactive charts, where you could whatever the inputs are, you could change that. So boom, it did it here as a kind of an in chat application. So let's see what it did. Now this isn't what we want, so this is good. We're going to have some fun with this. We could take our number of participants. Let's say we have 10 people. Okay, 60 minutes. So what does this mean here? Is this 60 minutes? Let's see, does this, oh, adjust. Perfect. Okay. And let's say, wow, everybody's making 50 bucks an hour. That means, that everybody there's making $100,000 a year. Let's just say, let's be more reasonable, like a typical, I don't know, meeting of average business professionals making about 70,000 a year. Okay. So, which is not unrealistic, for folks to be making, as a mid-level manager in healthcare, they're probably, making 70,000 a year. Where I'm doing the mental math with this, kind of a number that you want to have kind of in your mind is 2080. 2,080 hours. That's the typical average hourly number of hours if somebody works in a year. So there you go, 2080. And so you basically just take it and kind of double that number. Okay, so if I double 35, that's 70. So they're making about 70,000 and some change. So that meeting is going to cost the organization $315. Okay, that's cool. And I like how it took, the sliders, I love that idea. However, that's not what I want. I want something that I can have on my desktop. So let's talk to Claude. Hey, this is great. It does pretty much exactly what I need. However, I really need this to be like an independent app. What would you recommend for that? Okay, great. And this is what it did for me too. HTML, great way to go. So that's what it's going to code it in. So it's going to use your web browser, but there's no internet linkage whatsoever. It's just a file that's just going to use your web browser to kind of run the application. So, yep. All right. So let's see. My recommendation, let me create an HTML file for you right now. You just save it, double click when you want to open it in your browser, like any website, no installation, no coding, no internet. Do you want me to do that? Yes, that would be great. Please do that. Now, the coding part may take a while, so if I see it thinking a lot, I'm probably going to pause here for a moment. Yep, here it goes. Let me pause and I'll get back to you when it's done. Okay, we're back. It took about a minute and a half, and I removed my picture here so we could see the full, the full kind of the canvas area that it put it into. So we've got a nice preview of the app. I think this is actually functional in here. Let's see. Yeah, so it's actually functional in here too. So we could start iterating on it. But so what it did, it went ahead and executed exactly what it said it was going to do, and now has given me an HTML, a little bundled file that I can download. So let's go ahead and click download. Okay, let's see here. Boom. All right. So here it is, and let me see. Let me go to my download file. Actually, I did it twice to make sure it downloaded. So there it is. This is in my downloads. I'm just going to drag it over to my desktop here. Okay, perfect. So right now, I know you can't necessarily see this, and maybe you can. Let's see if I can shrink my web browser here, just so you can see that. There we go. So there you go. Hopefully this is being captured on the video. So simply, it's a little HTML file that's sitting on my desktop. And I can click it, and it will open up Chrome. Chrome is my default browser. So it went ahead and pulled that up automatically. And now I can interact with it. So I've got this cool little app. It looks identical to what it showed me before, so that's amazing. But let's just say, I don't know, what else would I want to add to this? Um, let's just make up something. Let's just do food costs. Let's say I needed to buy lunch for these people. Let's have an optional box for that. And remember, it's always nice to be polite to the AI. So, boy, that app looked great. Nice job with the HTML. I think it looks really good. However, I would like to add something to that. I would like to add if there's any kind of food cost, maybe like a breakfast or a lunch that's being provided for the meeting. I would like to be able to provide that as an input for the overall total meeting costs. Um, can you do that for me? Absolutely. And Claude is so polite. All right, here again, I'm going to pause while it's probably going to knock out some coding, and then we'll come back. All right, that was a little under a minute because it didn't have to recode the entire thing all over. And yeah, it made I mean, we gave it kind of vague details to add, but it added that box in there, food, beverage cost, total and optional, which is perfect. You know, entering the full catering bill. I mean, I didn't even say catering, but obviously just assume that. So that's awesome. Let's just make sure that it works. Oh, it even gave arrows, so I can do that. Oh, yeah, definitely working. Or I can just do, actual input there. So that's very cool. And yeah, it looks like, again, all the math is working. I would double check the math like old school and actually get out a calculator and make sure the math is actually running correct in this behind the scenes. Um, I've never found it not to run correctly, but again, what we've been talking about in this class ever since day one is trust but verify. So there is, that human layer of verification, I think is always going to kind of, be necessary. Now let's go ahead and download this. Okay, got another version here. Oh, I got another. Want to keep both. Okay. So I gave it the same name, so I wondered if it wanted to overwrite that, but I want to keep both versions here so we can see it. All right, so let's take a look at our new HTML program that you can see right here, downloaded this little tiny bit of code here, which should opened up a new browser window for me and has our new food and beverage area in there. Let me just close out all the old ones and then just to see, here's our old one. Yep, without the food and beverage in there. So yeah, I mean, this app maybe, I guess wouldn't necessarily change the world, but really it hopefully changes your world in opening up the ideas and possibilities. This is very simple. Um, don't be, I guess, intimidated by giving it something even complex. I've given it very complex things, takes more time, but I mean, some of the apps I've created are really like publishable apps that you could not distinguish from um, apps that you would pay for. So very cool stuff. We're always, talking a little bit about the future. There's a lot of predictions that the app store that you see like on your phone, um, just apps in general, including big apps like Microsoft Office and other things. I mean, these will probably be gone when you can have an AI, and it can produce a word processor, probably not as sophisticated as Office or Microsoft Word, but it could definitely you could type a document. Um, if anybody still does that anymore. But yeah, you could do that. So I definitely see a future where, again, the AI is going to be forward. Um, Apps might exist as tools that the AI will interact with. You will not interact with them. You will not interact with files. You will not interact with your desktop like you normally would. All of that would be facilitated by the AI. I could see that happening very quickly, probably within the next year or two. But there you go. Make an app. Have great fun with that. All right, we're going to pause the video, then we'll jump into our next AI in action and do a presentation. Okay, guys, now the second part of the presentation is about doing PowerPoint presentations. As I was prepping for this and getting ready to shoot the next section, and I entered my prompt in using Claude, the free account, it ran out of context window. It, with the free account, you can only do so much and then it shuts down. Even with the $20 version, the $100 version, the $200 version, you can burn through all the usage, depending if you really push it on heavy tasks. So, I think because there was so much imagery involved with the creation of those PowerPoint slides, that's why it was hitting that daily limit. So here's what we're going to do. We are not going to have that assignment required. If you did it, great. I'll give you extra credit for it. We're just going to reduce the total number of points in the class. However, I do want to show you kind of the results of what it can do with a, in this case, I used my paid account. I used this prompt here. So basically just a one-shot prompt. I could, fine tune it, but, build a PowerPoint presentation on SpaceX, ask me questions about what kind of style, how many slides, what do you think might be necessary to create an outstanding presentation? So then it asked me a few questions, how many slides, of course, who was my audience, which was a good thing. I didn't even think about that initially when I was kind of winging that prompt, and then what type of presentation that I would want. And it gave me some choices to think about, and I chose something with bold and modern imagery. It then went off and did its thing. It took about 7 minutes to create the PowerPoint that you see here. This is in a PDF version, but it also has a downloadable PowerPoint format, the PPTX format. So I think it did an amazing, really amazing job on this. It grabbed images from the internet, incorporated that. I mean, for me to create this PowerPoint slide, I mean, this probably would have taken, I mean, if you're super quick and you do these all day, but to come out with this iconography and to find the images would have taken me all day to do that, if not longer, and still wouldn't have looked as good. Now, there are some things that are a little that I don't like this image has been squished. That's of the Dragon space capsule. But I think what it did is it squished it in to fit that space there. I think I can go in and re-edit that and just, unsquish it and make that look a little bit better. But other than that, I mean, some really powerful graphics that it created. I mean, just a great job. I could not create something this good looking. It's just a really nice PowerPoint. So there's that. Again, it takes probably a paid account, especially if you're doing 6 to 8 slides. Maybe if I choked it down and I guess if I was trying to get by with just a free account, maybe one strategy might be to do 2 or 3 slides a day. Come up with the framework first. Like, let's develop the framework. That's cheap and easy to do. What's each slide going to say? That doesn't take any tokens at all. It will knock that out pretty quickly. And then I would then maybe just create a couple a day. The problem I would hope is to maintain style consistency. I'd maybe even give it a screenshot of what the slides look like the previous day that I created it. So there's probably a way to get around that, but it would be kind of laborious, especially if you're doing anything that's, more than 6 slides long, which most PowerPoints are. So in this case, it's probably the best use case is just for the paid accounts. I will show you a couple of other iterations that I was playing around with that you just need to be aware of, and maybe you're already seeing them. But in Microsoft, I'll bring this over here. Let's see here. Oops, that's the wrong one. That's the one that it made for me within Claude. Here we go. Okay, so here's the one. And let me remove my picture here. Okay, so what we are seeing now are a lot of the traditional applications, of course, are incorporating AI. Microsoft is no different. Microsoft PowerPoint, for many of you, probably already has Copilot in there. You can use that as well to help create slides. It also now allows you to use Claude in there. I just used Claude. I gave it the same prompt and same style considerations. As you can see here, it does a nice job. You know, they're pretty cool looking, but it is a little blander than what was created within Claude itself. My guess is because it's using PowerPoint as a tool, it's limited by what PowerPoint can do, such as the images. With when we were using Claude just to create it, I saw it actually go out to the NASA website. It grabbed images off of their government images, so they're public domain. It grabbed those to pull those in. That's not really a feature of the tool that it's using. So it was kind of bound by the tool that it's using. But it is kind of nice because it's integrated right into, right into PowerPoint. What I don't know is for the free version, if that would work. Yeah, I think you probably have to have the paid version. Yeah, I think I had to install this on the paid version, then it worked over into PowerPoint. But it's worth a shot to check. And Copilot, again, Copilot is that one is Microsoft's AI, and that is incorporated in there. However, I have to pay $20 a month to get it to work. So there's that. There might be a free tier for that, but at the time that I did it, I don't think that was free to work within the Microsoft Office environment. So I really wanted to see how it worked in Microsoft Office. So there you go. A few ways to do slides. Again, for this assignment, we're not going to have to do that this week. You can do that as extra credit. Um, and one other quick thing here. We're going to do something super quick, hopefully. I want to show you one more tool for presentations. And that's the other, like, there are so many AI tools out there. It is hard to maintain a library of understanding, what to use. But one of them that you might want to have in your toolkit would be Gamma. And Gamma is pretty much started as a way to create slide decks. It's now expanded out into other media. There is an underlying AI working it in the background. I don't know if it's Claude or GPT or some other one, but it seems to work pretty quick and does a nice job. So what we're going to do is we're going to do that presentation. I'm going to use the same prompt. And let's see what it does here. Let's see, we're going to do classic. Okay, default. I like, you want to do the traditional 16 by 9 so it fits into the normal PowerPoint slides. And okay. All right, let's generate the outline. And I found that Gamma goes pretty quick. All right, yeah, it looks good. All right. It's come up with the outline, and that's easy for AI to do. It can knock that out quick. You can reorder the outline, you can edit it, you can do all kinds of stuff with it, so you can take your time. This is what I like about the interface. You have more ability to customize it. Okay, so let's just go with that. Looks good. And we'll go with the concise text and then style. Let's see, we got some more styles here. So let's try something kind of spacey and dark. All right, we'll do that one. All right, let's generate. Let's see what it does here. Again, these normally goes pretty quick, so I don't think I'll have to pause the video. But I wanted you to at least see Gamma. What's also nice is you have these editor tools, so you have much more ability to kind of customize. Boy, it is flying here. Oh, this looks pretty cool. We're almost done. I think we said 10 slides. Yeah, looks great. Okay, let's take a look at what we've got here. Thinking here. All right, let's give it some time to finish up what it's doing there and go back. Okay, kind of cool. Again, not a lot of images. I can go back and tweak that. You can actually insert images. You could create AI images in different styles and insert that into the PowerPoint. And then, or it can actually retrieve real images too. So I know there's a feature on there. Um, but yeah, this is pretty cool though. That's kind of interesting. Hmm. Yeah, no, I love it. And again, you saw how blazing quick this was, and you have the ability to really dig in there and easily fine tune that. So that's something to think about. I think there's a free tier on there for Gamma. Um, I believe I'm paying maybe $5 a month. This one isn't too terrible, but I know that they all start to add up after a while. So you have to be selective in what you choose. All right, so there you go. A little bit about presentation software. Again, I do apologize. I didn't think that it would run out of so quickly, but I think it's because of the image intensity. That's what caused it. So again, accept my apologies on that. All right, that's it for the AI in action for this week. Thanks.